It's winter, so let's look at, umbrellas? Sure, why not? This is a topic that I am sure a bunch of people are curious about, just from the stance of wondering if there are even 10 umbrellas in the game we can talk about. And well, this was definitely a bit more of a challenging video, but alas, here we are. So let's go over my top 10 favorite umbrellas across all of Guild Wars 2. Let's get started. In the number 10 spot is the Festive Umbrella. This is a very interesting umbrella because it is a guild hall decoration from Lunar New Year, where if you are a scribe, you can make these with some red lanterns and a few other ingredients to get a simple red umbrella that you can place in your guild hall. Where you can combine two of these with some additional materials in order to make a red festival tint, which is basically two of these umbrellas sewn together. Where I always love guild hall decorations because decorating is just a fun activity whenever I get in the mood for it. Which, if I were to make a guess, as Lunar New Year rolls around very soon next year, we will see Def Lahar hanging out in Divinity's Reach and selling a recipe for us to make this in our homestead, which will make this umbrella even cooler. And with this being a decoration from Lunar New Year, you can indeed find it in Divinity's Reach around the Crown Pavilion whenever the festival rolls around, which I think is fun to see this area decorated in a couple of different ways throughout the year, depending on which festival is going on. Where it makes sense to bring in various umbrellas and tents to set up in the festival area for vendors and attendees of said festival. In the number 9 spot is the Disguised Umbrella Sword. Now I don't own this on my account, so enjoy this promo footage and preview footage, for this is a gem store exclusive item which some people might not like since you have to spend 800 gems in order to get, but I'll allow it for this video. The gold equivalent at the time of writing this video is around 390 gold, where this is just an interesting model of a sword skin. When it is stowed, it is sheathed like an umbrella, and this is honestly a really cool looking umbrella with the black and gold design alongside red gemstones. But of course, it is an illusion, because when you wield it, you grab the handle of the umbrella and pull a blade out that you can use in combat, which hidden weapon designs are always fun, and I definitely like how this one looks. I think the sword itself looks cool, but of course the umbrella looks incredible, and I would love to have seen something like a focus or a shield that uses the umbrella model, but is hidden away when you have the weapon stowed, so you can combine the two together to make it look like you are using the sword as the sword, and then the umbrella as an offhand weapon. In the number 8 spot is the Vacation Lounge Chair. Now this is another gem store item that costs 600 gold, and I want to give a quick shout out that I actually bought this item as I was writing this video, and I did so because the Winter's Day patch this year implemented a change where certain gem store categories, including chairs, are permanently available now, which I actually really appreciate a lot since I don't like the thoughts of FOMO even if the items will be rotating around again. So I have this chair and enjoy it in random locations around Tyria. While it's a pretty fun chair, you are lounging in a beach chair, wiping your brow every now and then with a table by your side that has some drinks on it, and of course covering you is a big umbrella. This is a very classic looking umbrella that has some light blue and darker blue fabric, and as someone whose favorite color is blue, I naturally like this umbrella a lot, and I personally think it has a cool design. Where I think everything combined with this chair just makes it fun to pop down on a beach somewhere and just relax for a bit. In the number 7 spot is the Crow's Nest Tavern Umbrella. This is approaching canopy territory as we have a giant umbrella providing shade to the area of the northern parapet of this entire area. Where this location is where the Lion's Arch Captain's Council convenes to do Captain Council things, where you have this massive stage that some people may recognize from the annual fashion show, plus a bunch of other decorations around here. Around this parapet you have a variety of tables, cushions, chairs, and a couple of captains hanging out, and then the umbrella, where you have a very cool aquatic design of the umbrella itself with blue fabrics and waves embroidered into it. You have the central mast which is holding up the umbrella or canopy with some additional supports. Then you have an incredible looking octopus chandelier holding 8 burning candles. And let me just say, this is so cool looking, but all the details together makes a really cool tent that fits this area thematically well, with it being the area where a bunch of important pirates meet in a naval city. In the number 6 spot are the Divinity's Reach Circus Umbrellas. Now this is a very general answer, and there are some similarities between this spot on this list and when I talked about the Divinity's Reach Circus tents in my top 10 tents video. Where all around Divinity's Reach there are quite a few structures belonging to the circus, and we can see many cool decorations with them. Where here and there we can see some umbrellas. Most notably for me is at Mina's target shooting, where we can see a few umbrellas sticking up out of the corner of the tent itself, which adds a lot of depth and detail to the overall tent structure. But you can look at a few other areas and decide for yourself what type of shaped fabric this can be called, where you have this cotton candy cart that has a bit of an umbrella on top, and you have some umbrellas next to this baker over these tables, which may or may not be a part of the circus, but are in the same area. In the number 5 spot are the Divinity's Reach book carts. This is a fun spot because these carts are what inspired me to make this list, where I just love these carts for so many reasons. Having little carts around the city where vendors are selling books with all of these people walking around is fantastic. It just makes the city feel alive, but you can interact with each of the book carts to get a unique bit of dialogue. To highlight one, you can see this cart has a book titled Ghosts of Ascalon, written by Dougal Keane, which is a reference to the real-world Guild Wars novel Ghosts of Ascalon, where Dougal Keane is one of the main characters. But when we look at the carts themselves, they are really fun structures with 4 big wheels and an umbrella on top of them, where you have these V-shaped covers which can be debated to be like umbrellas, but then you got some red and white umbrellas, which tend to be the most popular type of umbrella in the game, covering some of the other book carts. Where I just like running through Divinity's Reach and seeing these little carts with umbrellas off to the side, and it is fun to stop and read what each of them has to offer. In the number 4 spot are the Kestrel Market umbrellas. The Kestrel Market is located on the eastern edge of the stronghold of Ebonhawk, and if you're like me, no, it has nothing to do with the Kestrels from the End of Dragons expansion. But this entire area is cool as a part of Ebonhawk, where a bunch of different civilians are hanging out at doing various things. You can also find a few separatists here and there, and some of the sections of the Founding Book. There are a few different merchants, some book carts similar to the ones in Divinity's Reach, and just a bunch of fun decorations that makes this a cool looking market. But near the waypoint here, you have these 2 umbrellas. Sitting side by side, we have some red and white umbrellas with some red, white, and blue pennants attached to the bottom, where they are 2 different sizes, with one being much larger than the other. Around them are some market stalls and some supplies, but interestingly enough, there aren't any vendors underneath these 2 umbrellas compared to many of the other covers around here. But still, I think they look particularly cool compared to many of the umbrellas in the game, and I'm glad they were added to this area of the world. In the number 3 spot are the new Kaineng City umbrellas. Specifically, when I think of these, I'm thinking of the ones at the Nika's Blade restaurant, located just east of the Ludgardus Plaza waypoint that you come to during the Fallout story step of Ender Dragons, where you have some tables with chairs and food on the tables and other supplies all around here, where you sit at the table underneath the umbrella during the story mission, which is fun. But these umbrellas are just super cool looking and pretty unique compared to every other umbrella in Guild Wars 2, where they fit into the vibes and aesthetics in New Kaineng City as a whole, where they are kind of jade punk and futuristic looking, with light beaming down from the center of the umbrella towards the brim. And I think when we look at all the umbrellas found throughout Guild Wars 2, it is obvious that these ones would make the list and be super high up on it, because they're just so unique and cool looking. In the number 2 spot are the Southsun palm tree umbrellas. These are fantastic. At the starting area of Southsun Cove, you can find this incredible bar area on the southern end of Pearl Islet. You have a lot of fun stuff around here, including a changing room, a bar, a bunch of patrons, and a bunch of fun tables with umbrellas, where we actually have 2 different types of umbrellas here, and they both just serve to provide some shade for the table where people are eating and drinking at. In the upper part of this bar area, you can find some of those classic red and white umbrellas with the pennants, but they have an additional fun detail with having some palm leaves covering them, where I think this is a really fun detail that adds a lot to these umbrellas. But if you like them, you can go down to the beach and find these umbrellas that are entirely made up of palm leaves. It's like a mini palm tree with a table that has cool little fish statues for legs. And I just love the look of this so much, and I think it's a fantastic idea for a beachside resort. But now for the number 1 spot, for my favorite umbrella in all of Guild Wars 2, and it just has to go to the Picnicking Villagers umbrella. This is a phenomenal little area that you can find in Queensdale, and I have highlighted it a couple of times on my channel before, and for good reason, because it's just a tiny detail that adds a fantastic, memorable interaction in this map. Near Jeb's Wheatfield with a cool windmill you can explore the inside of, you can find this incredible looking apple tree on top of the hill, which the environment here itself is super cool, with all of Shaymore around it, Divinity's Reach off in the distance, and then this apple tree on the edge of a sheer cliff. But you have this villager here who has this umbrella and is using it to have a little picnic, where there are some fallen apples on the ground, a whole pie, a basket of flowers, and a basket of bread. Which, can I just say, this is just something that is so nice. Sitting underneath an apple tree, looking at an incredible sight and eating a bunch of carbs. Except this poor villager has her day ruined because a bear will periodically come and try to take the bread and pie for itself by charging towards the villager, scaring her away, and hanging out underneath the umbrella. Where you can deal with the bear and the villager will continue on with her picnic, and this entire interaction is just so much fun because it's ultimately a little thing that is random, but it's stuff like this that makes me fall in love with video games. where the umbrella here is definitely cool and is the iconic umbrella model we have seen in a few different places throughout this list. But how this umbrella is being used for a picnic alongside the entire story going on here just makes it my favorite umbrella in all of Guild Wars 2. And that's my list. I hope you enjoyed. While umbrellas may seem like a really random topic, if you take some time to explore the various umbrellas in Guild Wars 2, you can find a bunch of cool stuff, be it palm leaves providing shade, or a cool octopus chandelier, or an undocumented event. There are a lot of fun little details connected to these various umbrellas. If you like this type of video, consider watching my top 10 tents in Guild Wars 2 or my more recent top 10 festival activities in Guild Wars 2. Thank you all for watching, and I hope you all are taking good care of yourselves. Have a good one, everyone.